ball has been set rolling for a landmark trial in Hong Kong, and in the docks are a few seasoned politicians, veteran protest leaders, academicians, unionists and healthcare workers. The accused are facing charges that could send them to prison for life. This landmark trial, the first involving subversion charges, is expected to run for weeks. In this video, we decode what is this landmark trial, who are these people and why are they facing the charge of subversion. But before that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Oneindia. A total of 47 people are being put on trial. They have come to be known as the Hong Kong 47. The trial will focus primarily on the 16 who have pleaded not guilty to the charges. The other 31 have pleaded guilty and will be sentenced after the trial. These 47 are a group of pro-democracy activists in this semi-autonomous Chinese territory. Their crime was organizing and participating in an unofficial primary election that prosecutors called a massive and well-organized scheme to subvert the Hong Kong government. The vote was held ahead of a legislative election in 2020 to find out which contenders would be best placed to bid against pro-Beijing candidates. Such contests are held in democracies around the world and involve political parties selecting the strongest candidates for an election. But in Hong Kong, this practically amounts to sedition. Authorities claim the holding of such elections by them was a vicious plot intended to paralyze the government and undermine state power by winning a majority of seats and then using them to block legislation. In the past 2 years, more than 2,000 people have been arrested under the national security law and more than 3,000 have been prosecuted on other charges over their roles in anti-government protests. Virtually all of Hong Kong's opposition figures, long-time advocates for democracy, were detained on a single day. The main defendant in the case is Benny Tai, a law professor and leader of the Occupy Central movement in 2014, which demanded freer elections. The case has also ensnared long-time opponents of the Chinese government like Joshua Wong, who became world famous as a teenage student leader during the 2014 Umbrella movement. Several other defendants like Claudia Mo, Eddie Chu were veteran lawmakers who had been at the forefront of Hong Kong's democracy movement for years. Others like Winnie Yu represent a newer generation of activists who were active in the wake of the 2019 protests. Chinese officials have used this new national security law to crack down on the so-called dissenters, essentially discarding the one country, two systems principle. In Hong Kong, free speech and judicial independence had long been protected under the Basic Law, the city's mini constitution. But the Chinese government, which administers Hong Kong as a semi-autonomous territory, sees those principles as a secondary to its control. In 2003, not long after Hong Kong was returned to China, local pro-Beijing officials tried to pass security legislation. But a draft of the bill raised fears that civil liberties and human rights would be diminished. The legislation was shelved after a mass demonstration. Chinese authorities took a different approach in 2020. Its provisions were revealed a day before the 23rd anniversary of Hong Kong's handover to China. The law took effect immediately, a warning to the many residents who often mark the anniversary with pro-democracy protests. In 2019, China proposed an extradition bill that could potentially allow Hong Kong suspects to be sent for trial in China. Anger over this potential bill had erupted into some of the largest protests Hong Kong had ever seen, turning into a broader anti-China and pro-democracy movement. The cases will be heard without a jury, deviating from the common law tradition. This subversion trial is being heard by a bench of just 3 High Court judges. This new security law has allowed Beijing to exert unprecedented control over Hong Kong. With its implementation in 2020, Chinese security forces were allowed to operate openly in Hong Kong for the first time. And this law had criminalized 4 types of offences, of which subversion was also a part. The immediate impact of this law on Hong Kong's political future will be more clear after this trial ends. This was all about the trial of the Hong Kong 47 under the new security law. We hope you would like this new video. Thank you for watching.